welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I got this purple smoky eye look using the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette. Okay, so first I'm going to go in with my Tarte Shape Tape in light neutral, and I'm going to use it to prime my eyelids. And I'm just going to take that on any dual fiber brush. This one is by Real Techniques. And I'm going to put a generous layer on my eyelid. And instead of setting it this time, I'm going to just go in with the color because I feel like you get a better color payout when you do it that way. And you also save product. So ever since I got this BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette, I've been obsessed with it because it's only $20. And it has a better color payout than a lot of products that I've spent $50 on. And I'm just going to go in with this light pink shade right here in my crease for a transition color because I want it to go from a light pink into a very dark, deep purple. So I'm just going to take that on any fluffy brush, and this is just a Sonia Kashuk one from Target. And I'm going to put that all over. What I like to do with this is I like to just build and pull it really far out so that way it blends easier. It really doesn't take a lot of this product to spread out because of how good the color payoff really is. Pulling that out, pulling it down, pulling it in all kinds of different directions so that I don't get any harsh lines, and then I'm just gonna tap that into my crease. So it kind of looks more purple on the skin than it does in this palette. In the palette it looks really pale, but it almost looks sort of neonish on the lid, and that could also be because I didn't set my concealer on my eyes. So now that I have that all pulled out, I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills lip palette. I use this a lot for freelancing because if you know the color theory or color wheel, you can make any color that you want out of it. And I'm going to just take any flat synthetic brush and I'm going to pick up this berry color right here and I'm going to put that on my lid. This will also work as a primer for the shadow that I'm going to put on top of it. A lot of times I like to apply it with my brush and then I'll just go in with my ring finger because the warmth on your finger will keep the product warm and then it will spread out a lot better. Also, your ring finger has the least pressure, I guess. So your eye skin is really delicate, so it is a lot better too. I just push that in, add a little bit more. I like to get it really into my lid between my lashes. And then I'm just gonna take another brush and I'm just gonna push it into my crease. So I kind of have that evenly dispersed. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more just so that it's even. I'm gonna go in with my ring finger to warm it up. And I'm just gonna push down and then pull back out again. So now you can see how that has really blended out well. So now that I have that in, I'm gonna take the same brush that I used on that pale pink color and I'm gonna run that on top of here just to ensure that everything's blended out really well. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with this really dark berry color, and it's by Star Crushed Minerals, this brand you can find online, and it has really cheap pigments that are loose that you can use for pretty much anything. You can use them for blushes, you can use them for shadow. If you mix them with like Inglot Duraline, you can use it for lippies. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a flat brush and I'm going to take a really, really small amount because this stuff is super pigmented, and I'm going to apply that on top of where I put the Anastasia lippy. It's almost the same color and I feel like it's blending out super well. I'm going to push that in a little bit, and now that I have that on, I'm going to take my flat MAC 217 brush and I'm going to take more of that Shape Tape concealer and I'm going to just create sort of a halo. The trick to doing this for any eye shape is you want to take a pretty good amount on any flat brush, and what I do is I just place it and then I look up, and that will naturally put it in your crease so that way you're not trying to figure out where it goes. And then sometimes if you put it in the wrong spot, you won't even be able to tell that you have a halo eye going on. So since I want it to, the sparkles that I'm going to apply to be focused in the middle, I'm just going to pull this down and just focus on cleaning this up because I'm going to go in with a darker shadow above it to define it later on. I'm just gonna pull that down, kind of drag it out. Okay, so now that I have that on there kind of messy, I'm just gonna go in with my flat Real Techniques brush, and I'm gonna go in with this glittery, shimmery color called Leo. You can see it right there. So I'm just gonna take that on that brush, and I'm gonna spray it with my Fix Plus, and I'm gonna put that directly on top of where I applied the Tarte Shape Tape. And now I'm just gonna take the color next to it, which is Virgo, and that's a little bit lighter than Leo, and that's gonna add some dimension to the eye. So I'm just gonna place that in the middle for a little bit of a highlight. So now that you can see where I kind of created that line, I'm gonna go back in with a flat brush, and I'm gonna take that same pigment on it, and I'm just gonna blend it in. So now that I have the pigment on my brush, I'm just gonna go back and forth to blend that shimmery shadow into this matte one. So I kind of went in a little bit too much, but that's fine because you can always just go back in with the colors again and add some more. And it's kind of easier that way. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Sigma detail brush. It's a Sigma E36. And I'm going to go in with Taurus, which is a really dark matte purple. And I'm just going to take that and I'm going to go on top of where I created that halo just to add some definition to it and some more contrast. So I'm going to be very light, maybe even like tap the excess off on your hand. And I'm going to just gently make windshield wiper motions above where that concealer was. And then we'll clean it up later. I feel like this shadow isn't bright enough, so I'm just going to take it on my 217 brush, spray it with Fix Plus, and then I'm going to go back under it right where I created that shadow, and I'm going to kind of carve that out. So if you mess up the first time, you can easily manipulate your makeup into doing what you want it to do. You've just got to place it where you want it to go. I'm going to go back in, do a little bit more blending, kind of trying to find a happy medium between the two. And then I'm going to just go in with my Morphe 433 brush, and it has a little bit of that pigment on it. And I'm going to go right above where I created that definition just to blend out that purple line. And then to blend that out, I'm going to go back in with this Sonia Kashuk brush, and I'm going to go in with that pale pink, and I'm going to go on top of what I just placed there. And then with that Sigma brush again, I'm going to go back in with that dark purple, and I'm just going to place it in the inner corner and the outer corner, which is going to help create that halo effect. So now that I have that placed, I'll just go in with a clean MAC 224 brush. I'm just going to blend all this together. So I just place that, and I'm going to pull it up, pull it out a little bit. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to go in with a Maybelline purple eyeliner. This is the Lasting Drama Waterproof Gel Pencil. And I'm just going to line my waterline with it. It's a darker purple, so it's going to look super flattering with the colors on top. And then later on, I'm just going to go in and smudge it, but I'm going to wait until after my foundation is applied under my eyes. I've been using this Smashbox mirror, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the color Stormy, which is this like iridescent pinkish white color right here, and I'm just going to take that on a shader brush, and I'm going to use that to highlight my brow bone. And then I'll take that Sonia Kashuk brush again, and I'll kind of wipe the excess away and blend it in with that pale pink color. And then for a little bit more dimension, I'm going to go into this really pretty white color in the middle of this palette, and I'm going to just pop that onto the top where I applied that. And then I'm going to pop that in my inner corner as well. So I just do that on my face, around my nose, my chin, my lip, my forehead. I don't focus too much out here because I don't lose makeup there. Maybe I would if I planned on wearing my makeup for over like 12 hours, but usually it comes off pretty soon. I like to really push it into my nose area. And then I'm going to go in with the Estée Lauder Double Wear foundation in 2W2. I like this because it's super thick and super full coverage, and it's really matte. My best friend recommended it to me, and I trust anything that she says, so I like to start on my jaw area, and then I pull it to the other side. And then what I do is I just drag it down onto my neck so I don't look like I'm wearing a mask. I don't know what kind of sorcery is in this foundation, but it covers everything on my face. And I have a lot of texture. I have acne prone skin, so don't be surprised if you see a breakout on my face and I'm trying to cover it. Always get your ear. I don't take it underneath my eyes just because it's super thick and I tend to crease under there really badly. So I won't pull it all the way up here. I'll leave that bare for my concealer. So I'm just going to push that into my face instead of swipe. I'm going to go in on my nose. And for my nose, I'm going to actually use a smaller brush. This is the Morphe E8. This is the Morphe M439. I like using smaller brushes in this area because I feel like there's more precision and I have more control of where I'm putting my makeup. And I also like it for in between my eyebrows because I feel like sometimes when I use my M439, I go in between them and I swipe off some of my eyebrows. So I'm just going to go over my extra texture and breakouts that I have with this brush and just add a little bit more coverage on top of it. Sometimes when I'm feeling super full coverage before I apply my foundation, I'll go in with a concealer and actually conceal on top of them and then go on top of it with my foundation. But not today. Just going to push that into my hairline. Try not to get it in my hair. So now that I have that mostly pushed into my skin, I'm going to just take my beauty blender and I'm going to press on top of it just to pick up any excess foundation that may be laying on my skin. I don't like to go in with a beauty blender, or in this case this is a Real Technique sponge. I don't like to go in with the sponge directly with this foundation because it just gunks up my sponge and then I can't use it anymore and it just wastes product. So I'm going to go in with my Tarte Shape Tape, and what I like to do with this is I like to focus it down the side of my nose, across. I don't go directly underneath my eye just because it dries out, and I go in with a different concealer all the way up there. But I like to use this for highlighting. I'll go down the side of my nose, down for extra coverage, and I'm just going to swipe that way. I like to go down my nose, my chin. This stuff dries really fast, so you kind of have to work quick. I don't know why I went in and did so much of it, but I'm just going to take my sponge and I'm going to push that into my... I'm also going to use it to clean up this extra shadow that I smoked out down here. Take it between my brows and then just use whatever's left on the sponge and go on my forehead. This stuff really dried fast, so I'm having to work really quick with it. Some of it dried right here, so I'm just going to go in with my brush. And I like to use my finger to push it in around my nose. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Maybelline Age Rewind in Light. And that's the one I'm going to take directly under my eyes. I like to go in with a lighter concealer underneath my eye. And then when that's a little bit darker, just because I feel like when you have a really full coverage face and then two really bright triangles under your eyes, I feel like it just doesn't look natural. So it gives it a good blend when you do it this way. Plus I really like the applicator on this. And I just pull it out and then I can just go in later and fix whatever I messed up. I'm going to go in with my brush first and push it in. And I'm not going to apply it to my other eye because this one dries really fast. So now that that's done, I'm just going to go back in with this sponge and I'm going to pick up any excess that I have left on here. I'm going to go in and blend that line out also that I created later on. I'm going to use the translucent powder that I set my under eye with. So now I'm going to go in with my RCMA No Color Powder and I'm just going to use this Real Techniques brush and I'm going to set my under eye with it. Go on the sides of my nose, underneath my nose and my chin because that's where I tend to get oily throughout the day. I have combination skin, so I never really know what I'm going to get. Some days I wake up with really oily skin. Some days I apply my makeup and it clings to all my dry patches. So I'm just going to push that in. So then I'm going to go in with a different Morphe. It's the same Morphe E8 brush, but it's a different one than I used for my concealer. And I'm going to go in with my Chanel bronzer and I'm just going to bronze up my cheeks with this. I like this bronzer because it's really subtle. It's not too much and you can use it to contour, you can use it to bronze. Sometimes if I'm feeling really full coverage, I'll apply this and then I'll apply a different bronzer on top of it. But this one turns to powder pretty quickly, so you have to work. I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. I start with tapping motions and then I'll just kind of work my way up. I don't like to take it too far in because I don't want to look too sucked in. Then I'm just going to take my sponge and I'm going to press that into my skin, kind of melt it in. Wipe that excess that I have underneath my eyes off with my Morphe Fluffy brush, off my chin, and then I'm going to go in with my Hoola bronzer on a fluffy brush, and I'm going to bronze up my cheeks.
World Cup bunker. How many teams have participated in the 2014 World Cup? Isn't it like 32 or 128? I think it's
So I kind of went a little ham on the bronzer, and when you do that, you can just take your fluffy brush and you can take a little bit of translucent powder and just run that on top of it just to lighten it up a little bit. Then I'm going to take my Kat Von D contour kit, and I'm going to just take one of these light highlight shades for my under eye, and I'm just going to set that underneath there. I like to use a lot of powders underneath my eyes, but I spray them in between because I always struggle with my mascara smearing under my eyes no matter what I use, and usually this helps. And it also just makes your skin look a little bit more flawless. If you're feeling really extra, you can take any type of flat brush and sort of just apply that underneath where you contoured your face, just for a little bit more precision. I'm going to set my face again. And then I'm going to finish off my under eyes. Flat brush. And I'm going to go in with this purple color that I used on my lid. This matches the color that I used in my waterline really well. It's almost the same color. And I'm just going to connect it to that lighter berry color. So now that I have that done, I'm going to just go in and kind of clean that up. I'm going to take that same pink color that I used, the pale pink, and I'm going to go underneath that just to sort of blend it out and connect what I created right here. I also like to really smoke my bottom lash line out because of my creasing. So that kind of disguises it if you have really bad creasing under your eyes. And then I just connected it there. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of translucent powder on a fluffy brush that's really clean, and I'm going to go underneath here. Try not to touch the darker color because then you're going to pull it out into the lighter color, and it's gonna look like a line. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna touch up my waterline one more time. I went a little bit heavier because I want to take a defining brush and I kind of want to smoke that on top of my lashes as well, just for a better blend. So I'm just gonna run that along my lash line, and then I'm just gonna go in with some mascara. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to highlight before I put my blush because I feel like it sort of brings everything together in a way. So I'm just going to take a highlighting brush and I'm going to go in with my Amrezy Anastasia Beverly Hills highlight. And I'm just going to hit the high points of my cheeks. This highlighter is so nice that you honestly don't even need to wet your brush. It goes on really, really sheer. Hit above the eyebrow where the light would naturally hit your face. I like to hit sort of in the middle of the forehead lightly, back above the other eyebrow, and then I'll spray it again to do this side. You can do above your lip. I like to take a shader brush and I like to do the tip of my nose. Okay, so for blush, I'm going to go in with my Bobbi Brown Shimmer Brick. And I'm going to go in with the color Rose. It has like multiple different colors in it, and it would look really pretty with a pink look. You could even do like a really dark smoky eye. I feel like it brings a lot of life to the face. So I'm just going to focus that on the apples of my cheeks. I like to hit the middle of my forehead sometimes too, the bridge of my nose, the sides of my nose, because it really brings life to the face. Then I'm just going to take my big fluffy brush and I'm going to kind of go all over it just to ensure that everything is blended. And then last, I set my face for the millionth time, and I'll take my sponge, and since I use so much powder, I just push it all into my face to reverse the effect of a super powdery. Really push it into my cheeks. Then for lip, I'm just gonna go in with my favorite gloss. This is Urban Decay. This one's in Fuel. I'm not gonna use any liner. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to hit subscribe, and if you have any tutorial suggestions, let me know in the comments below. You are my